This is one of Andrew Breitbart's pieces, and it's actually an interesting question. And it was also raised by Byron York at the D.C. Examiner a couple of days ago. It might have been yesterday or the night before last. Remember the book Game Change? John Heilemann and, was it Halperin? Was it Mark Halperin and John Heilemann? Two reporters followed both presidential campaigns in 2008. They learned a whole bunch of stuff during the campaign, but they didn't report a lot of it. What is this? CBS Tampa. Florida drivers shelling out nearly $6 a gallon at some gas stations. According to GasBuddy.com, motorists are paying $5.89 for a gallon of regular at a Shell station in Lake Buena Vista. $5.89. $5.99 a gallon for premium. $5.99. So we've crossed the $5 a gallon threshold, and we're on the way to $6. Anyway, this book, remember the criticism at the time was all the stuff that they held during the campaign. They obviously held it for their book. These are two reporters. I understand they're out there writing a book, but they're also both covering the campaign at the same time. And they kept, what do you want to pronounce his name, Helleman? Is it Helleman or Heilemann? I think it's Heilemann. At any rate, they're making a movie out of this book now, Game Change. It's an HBO movie. I was invited to the screening. It's in New York, so I won't be going. No, but that would technically be work. See, so if it involves work, I don't go to New York. Plain and simple. So here's the thing about this. The book was about both campaigns, the McCain campaign and the Obama campaign. And it involved the primaries. It involved Hillary versus Obama. It involved Romney versus McCain and Huckabee and all that. And then the presidential campaign. This movie is all about Sarah Palin. The movie is primarily about Sarah Palin. And so Ben Shapiro says, why are the producers of HBO's, stick with me on this because the reason I'm mentioning this, why are the producers of HBO's Game Change focusing so heavily on Sarah Palin when the book concerned the entire 2008 campaign? And there are two answers. The first answer is that Palin is a draw. Hollywood knows it, and so does everybody else. Ben Shapiro says here, Tina Fey made her career far more by imitating Palin than by writing a show nobody watches called 30 Rock. Hollywood's Palin obsession is just beginning. You know, 2 years ago, time goes, it might have been 3. The last time I made Barbara Walters' top 10 most fascinating people, Tina Fey was in the list. And you know why Tina Fey was in the list? For impersonating Palin. Palin was not in the list. Tina Fey was. I always found that odd. Anyway, there's another reason, however, Ben Shapiro points out. Hollywood, as we know, is deathly afraid of the Tea Party. They believe that if they can persuade the Republican Party to abandon its conservative principles, they'll be doing good for a benighted American public. That's why during Game Change, you'll see Senator McCain, played by Ed Harris, say to Sarah Palin, who is played by Julianne Moore, who's a redhead. Tina Fey didn't get the gig. Julianne Moore did. John McCain says to Sarah Palin in the book, you're one of the leaders of the party now. Don't let yourself get co-opted by Limbaugh and the other extremists. They'll destroy the party if you let them. I didn't even know I'd made the book, but I've made the movie with McCain telling Palin, don't. This is kind of like what Obama told John Boehner. Don't listen to Limbaugh anymore. That's not how things get done in Washington. Don't listen to Limbaugh. So, and Byron York said, what is the it's a great example of media bias, really. Not that anybody needs one anymore, but it's a great example of it. The movie is about Palin. And, oh, by the way, they claim to have found examples heretofore unknown of her stupidity. There are 4 or 5 of them, and I don't have them right in front of me. I remember one. And they claim that they've got confirmation and backup for this. They said that Sarah Palin was shocked to find out at the beginning of the Iraq War that it was not the Queen who made decisions about what the British government would do. So that scene is in the book. Apparently, Palin thought the Queen made all the decisions. That's the point they're going to make. And there are 3 others. The New York Post had a story on this. I just don't, a couple days ago, and I don't remember what the other examples are. But they're still, Hollywood and the Democrat Party are still trying to kill off Sarah Palin. And that's the purpose of the book. Here are the other Palin things that are going to be in this movie that are not in the book Game Change. They claim they have discovered these items and they are independently confirmed as being true. While being prepped for an interview, Palin tells McCain's staffers that the reason we're at war in the Middle East is because Saddam Hussein attacked us on 9/11. That's why. Another one is that she's, I mentioned, shocked that Queen Elizabeth doesn't make the final decision for the British government. That she supposedly said, look, if she's not the head of state, who is? She supposedly asked. Does anybody believe Palin doesn't know that there is a prime minister? You've never heard of Tony Blair. She assumes that the Fed meant the federal government, not the Federal Reserve. They claim that Palin didn't know why North and South Korea were separate countries. Those are the new discoveries about Palin that are in the HBO movie, that are not in the Game Change book. And also in the movie is the McCain character telling the Palin character, you got to stop listening to Limbaugh and the extremists. They're going to destroy the party if you let them.